Before we begin, there's something you need to hear. And it's not a gimmick. 3 different women have already asked me not to publish this video. One said I'm revealing way too much. My sister looked me in the eyes and said, "Some things should stay secret." But here's the thing. You deserve the truth. You deserve to finally understand what's really going on beneath the surface when it comes to female psychology and attraction. These aren't theories. These are real messages I received just this week. Don't make that video. You're going to ruin everything. Men aren't supposed to know this stuff. But guess what? I'm making it anyway. Because for too long, you've been left in the dark. Confused. Frustrated. Trying to figure out behavior that never made sense. Today, that changes. I'm going to expose the psychological triggers women use, both consciously and unconsciously, that they absolutely do not want you to figure out. This isn't about manipulation. It's not about games. It's about clarity, awareness, power. If you've ever felt like you were playing a game without knowing the rules, this is your rulebook. Oh, and before we go any further, I have something for you. A free ebook called the Female Mind Control Handbook. Inside, you'll discover the hidden psychology that makes any woman feel magnetically drawn to you. Grab it now. The link is in the description or the pinned comment. Now take a breath, because what you're about to hear will change the way you talk to women forever. They use silence as a weapon, and it is incredibly effective. Most men think silence means disinterest. Completely wrong. Strategic silence is one of the most powerful psychological tools women use, and they learn it early. I discovered this during a conversation with my ex. We were discussing something important, and suddenly she went completely silent. Not angry, not upset, just silent. My immediate reaction was to talk more, explain myself, try to fill the void. That was exactly what she wanted. Women understand something men often don't. Silence creates psychological pressure. When they stop responding during an argument, delay replying to texts, or go quiet during an emotional conversation, they are not being passive, they are being strategic. Here's how it works. Silence forces you to project your own fears and insecurities into the void. You start wondering what they're thinking, what you did wrong, and how to fix it. Meanwhile, they watch your reaction, gathering information about your emotional state and priorities. Silence tells them how much you care about their opinion, whether you will chase or give space, how secure or insecure you really are, and what you're willing to do to get their attention back. Most women don't even realize they're doing this. It has become an unconscious social strategy. But once you understand it, you'll see it everywhere. Women are emotional chameleons, and they are incredibly good at it. This is something they absolutely don't want you to figure out, because it is one of their most effective psychological strategies. Emotional mirroring isn't just empathy, it's strategic emotional adaptation. Women can read your emotional state within seconds and subtly adjust their own energy to either match it or complement it, depending on what they want to achieve. I've seen this happen. At a networking event with a female friend, I noticed how she changed completely depending on who she was talking to. First, with a high-energy entrepreneur, she became animated and enthusiastic, matching his excitement. 5 minutes later, when speaking to a more serious investor, she shifted to a calm, thoughtful demeanor. It was the same person, yet a completely different emotional presentation. This isn't being fake. It's emotional intelligence weaponized. Women understand something men often don't. People are attracted to those who make them feel understood and comfortable. By mirroring emotions, women create instant rapport and connection. But here's the part they don't want you to know. They're also using this mirroring to gather information about you. Your emotional responses tell them what excites or threatens you, how you handle different social situations, and what kind of energy you respond to best. Mirroring serves a dual purpose, creating connection while conducting psychological reconnaissance. Once you start noticing this, you'll see it everywhere. The woman who becomes more flirtatious when you're confident, more nurturing when you're vulnerable, and more challenging when you're too comfortable. Understanding emotional mirroring doesn't mean you should be suspicious of every interaction. It means appreciating the sophisticated social intelligence women possess, and maybe learning from it. Another secret they hide is the mental ranking system every woman has for the men in her life, constantly updated based on behavior. This is perhaps the secret they least want you to discover, because it reveals how calculated some of their spontaneous decisions really are. This ranking isn't just about romantic interest. It's a comprehensive evaluation system that determines how much time, energy, and attention you deserve. Here's the kicker. Your rank can change dramatically based on a single interaction. I learned this during a brutally honest conversation with a female friend who'd had a few drinks. She explained how she categorizes every guy she knows. Tier 1 men she genuinely respects and is attracted to. Tier 2 men who are useful or entertaining but not serious options. Tier 3 men she tolerates but doesn't prioritize. And Tier 4 men she actively avoids or considers problems. Your tier determines everything. How quickly she responds to texts, how do they respect boundaries and demonstrate emotional intelligence. The ranking system isn't malicious. It's protective. Women have learned to be selective about where they invest their emotional energy. Now, onto the psychology of sexual gatekeeping. This is the topic that made 3 women tell me not to make this video, but you need to understand the psychological reality of how women approach sexuality and intimacy. Women are taught from a young age that their sexual value is their primary currency in relationships. Society tells them to be selective, to make men work for it, to use attraction as leverage. Most women internalize this messaging even if they consciously reject it. This creates a complex psychological dynamic. Women often want sex just as much as men do, but they've been conditioned to act as if they're doing you a favor by being interested. Here's what actually happens in a woman's mind when attraction builds. She's constantly fighting between her natural desire and the social programming that tells her not to seem too easy or too available. The result is a sophisticated system of tests, hoops, and barriers that have nothing to do with her actual level of interest and everything to do with protecting her social reputation and self-image. I've seen women who are incredibly attracted to someone still make them wait, still play hard to get, still create obstacles, not because they weren't interested, but because they felt they were supposed to. This gatekeeping serves multiple psychological purposes. It protects them from being labeled or judged, ensures you're genuinely interested and not just opportunistic, allows them to maintain a sense of control in vulnerable situations, and filters out men who aren't willing to invest emotional energy. Understanding this doesn't mean you should pressure anyone or ignore boundaries. It means recognizing that sexual dynamics are often more about psychology and social conditioning than actual desire levels.
The what?
One area where this is most evident is how they handle male competition expertly. Women know that men are naturally competitive, especially when it comes to other men's attention toward women they're interested in, and many women deliberately use this knowledge to their advantage. This strategy works because it triggers several male psychological responses: competition anxiety, fear of losing to another man, scarcity mindset, if others want her, she must be valuable, validation seeking, the need to prove you're the better choice, and investment escalation, the willingness to do more to secure her attention. The manipulation isn't always conscious. Many women do this instinctively because they've learned it gets results, but it's still manipulation of male competitive instincts. Drop the word ghost in the comments if you've ever walked away without looking back. That's how I'll know you're not chasing, you're choosing. If you're tired of the games, if you're done explaining yourself to people who never deserved access to you, if silence has become your power, then this is your signal. Subscribe right now. Not for views, not for trends, but because you feel it in your gut. This content was made for you. This isn't advice. It's a reminder for men who don't beg, don't fold, don't break. We vanish. We evolve. We return as ghosts they'll never forget.